All right, our special election coverage continues, including in California. And I want to turn now to a familiar face, someone who's called Southern California home for decades. Kato Kaelin became a household name in 1995 when he testified as a key witness in the O.J. Simpson murder trial. And at the time, Kaelin was living as a house guest on Simpson's property in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. It was a detail that put him at the center of one of the most watched trials in American history. But long before that trial, he was building a life in Los Angeles. He's watched this city grow and change over the years. And tonight, as voters decide who are going to lead the nation's second largest city, Kato Kaelin says it should be Spencer Pratt, arguing L.A. needs a change. Now, while he can't actually cast a ballot in this race, as he lives just outside the Los Angeles city limits, his perspective is important because it represents what many may be feeling. Kato Kaelin, host of the true crime series Murder in a Minute, joins me live now. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for taking the time. Big picture here. Why do you think people are showing up to the races? Why do these races matter? And when I say races, yes, the LA race, but also the governor's race.
Well, you know, Jesse, I think it's because we're sick of it. We're sick of it, of how life is. And it's really not about Democrat, Republican. It's not red or blue. It's, don't you want it to be a better place to live? I mean, who doesn't want to have a better place to live? And it's just, what do you have to lose? It's really simple. What do you have to lose? Nothing's happened in 4 years. Karen Bass has been awful, and Newsom has been awful, and it's just time for a change. I really think, I don't know Spencer Pratt, but I really think he's hit a nerve, and he knows with the ads that he's running, he's hitting it where people are going, yeah, give this guy a chance. And he's a smart guy. I think he's going to surround himself with smarter people, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. And I think the people that Bass surrounds herself with are not smart. I don't think she's smart. She goes to Guyana to a field trip, basically, when she knows there's low on water, there's windstorms, and a city burns down. Destruction everywhere. It's awful. We have to seriously, Jesse, make it the Golden State. It's not golden anymore. It's brown and filthy on the streets. People out here are on, walking on pins and needles, and I'm literally walking on pins and needles. Watch your step. She's passing out hypodermic needles. I mean, who wants to live that kind of life? You got to have someone who's going to clean it up, and I think that's his #1 mission, to make L.A. livable. And right there, I've got it. And you called him villain. I can relate to that only because I was just a witness in a trial.
Yeah, because you
that
said,
was the first reality show.
And it goes back to what Donna said earlier, right? I mean, this idea of how he's being portrayed. One of the reasons I understand you support him is because you know what it's like to be judged by the public. And she said earlier, his whole image has changed now.
100%. I'm happy that I can afford my own couch now. So I'll tell you, Jesse, people pick on you, but I believe, just like I am, I think Spencer has always believed in himself, and I think that is the power, and people see that. I think they see that he is a winner. Robert Redford did a movie called The Candidate. I liken him to that sort of thing, that he's this got a fish out of water, but now he's made a point, and people have kind of he's motivated people to want to go out and vote. And I really believe that he is going to be the mayor of Los Angeles.
What do you say, and I had Bill de Blasio on earlier, and I did my hot take on this, my digital show. Experience matters. And when you're dealing with L.A., which is very complicated, it's very complex. I mean, even if you're talking about preparedness for an emergency situation and trying to properly coordinate that, Karen Bass had her own difficulties. Bringing in an outsider who doesn't know the way it works, is that the way to go?
Well, I think it's the people he's going to have to meet. I believe I supported Rick Caruso, and I think if I'm hearing rumor that maybe Caruso is going to be in his camp, I think it's having those kind of experienced people that'll make a difference. And I think Spencer Pratt's doing all the right things. I think his ads are showing that he's going to what he believes in his ads, and I think that's the main motivation. Like I said, he's hit this nerve, and I just really believe we need to make it the Golden State. And the same thing for Steve Hilton. We got to. What do you have to lose, right, Jess? What do you have to lose, people? It's not Democrat, Republican. It's about becoming a better state.
These numbers that we're seeing are why there's so much attention and so much interest in this, and why it's kind of a dynamic situation. Yeah. Kato Kaelin, thank you for taking the time to come on. Really appreciate it.
I may run for office one time, Jess. I don't know for sure, but if there's a Speaker of the Guest House, I'm thinking about it.
Okay, well, you're going to announce it on this show. You're going to announce it on the show.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.